Da Vinci's model was based on 8 head lengths. Overall body length could be divided into 8 equal head lengths. The upper arm was 1 head length. From the elbow down to the fingertips was about 1.75 head lengths. Now, as we all know, we've gotten bigger as a population over the centuries. Back in Da Vinci's era, the Renaissance, the average male was 5 feet 5, the average female was 5 feet 1. In 1800s, the average male was 5 feet 7, and right today, we have 5 feet 10 and 5 feet 5, male and female respectively, as we've seen earlier. Now, if overall height has changed, have segmental lengths changed too? As far as I'm aware, no one's actually looked at that forever, and this may affect the models that we see out in the real world. So what I've done here is basically we looked at 24 individuals to see if they conform to the norm established by Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man. And what we see is that by and large the 8-head model is close, but it really has changed some. The average college-age student that I measured here was 7.6 heads in overall body height, not 8. 7.8 head heights in wingspan. Basically, the only very, very highly reliable dimension that's similar between Da Vinci's model and what we see in the laboratory today was femur length, basically the upper thigh, with 2 head lengths in length. All the others have changed. So while things have changed, Da Vinci's model gives us a little bit of a useful yardstick, but we do need to realize that we're going to see a variation of people, and that deviation from Da Vinci still gives us a means to manipulate exercise technique for our benefit and our trainees' benefit. And that difference is sort of elaborated right here on these 2 photographs. On the left we have an individual that is 7 heads in overall length. A full head's deviation from the model set forth by Da Vinci. On the right we have someone that is probably 8 1/4 heads, so there's a little bit of deviation. If you look back on the previous, if you replay this and you look back at the data table, you'll see that we had one individual in our data pool that was 8.8 heads in overall body height, and we also see there was an individual with 6.0. So we're going to see a nice bell-shaped curve around about 7.6 to 8. So we need to, both these people look absolutely normal, but once we start putting them in exercise positions, we're going to have to start making some manipulations. Now, in this example right here, we have manipulated only 1 segment length. And the reason we do this is because it is a very simple and powerful demonstration of how much anthropometry affects what we see, and it affects effective technique to a very, very great extent. If you look in the center panel is our average person. If we go into any weight room anywhere, we're going to have coaches and fitness instructors tell a trainee, beginning trainee, to get their back at a 45-degree angles when they start lifting the bar off the floor. That is an inappropriate instruction. If you look, back angle is relative to the floor. So our back angle relative to the floor is 15 degrees in an average individual. It's the hip angle in an average individual that's about 45 degrees. Just look at the shape of that triangle formed by her arm, her femur, and her vertebral column. It has a very specific shape. What happens if we have a short arm? Let's go over to right to the left, right to the left. Let's go to the left of center, and we've shortened that arm by about 3 inches. What that does, it flattens the back angle. The back to floor angle is about 10 degrees, and it closes up, or makes smaller, the hip angle. It closes it up to 30 degrees. Now if we go all the way to the right, we see a longer arm by about 3 inches, and we're going to have a more steep back angle, back to floor, of about 20 degrees, and there's going to be a hip angle. The hip angle is going to open up to about 60. Now, these are very clear-cut examples, but we're going to have a gray area, squishy area, because not everybody's going to be 3 inches longer, 3 inches shorter. It's going to be 1 inch, it's going to be half an inch. What we have done, Mark Rippetoe and I have done for many years, is to develop the scapular alignment model of starting pulls off the floor. The navicular needs to be directly under the bone, directly under the bar. The bar needs to be directly underneath the inferior aspect of the scapular spine. That anatomical arrangement sets up specific geometry that allows for very efficient, nearly linear movement. Efficient. All 3 of these individuals are aligned, well, in these conditions, are aligned exactly the same. So, navicular, bar, scapular spine, all lined up correctly, but it looks completely different, simply based on the length of the forearm. So this is a pretty nice application of, or in demonstration of how this affects exercise technique. And this finding, this concept extends across every single human movement. So to be good coaches, good trainers, and have a good coaching eye, we need to do 3 things. We need to develop the ability to identify anatomical segments at a glance. We need to be able to recognize them very, very quickly across all populations. We need to also develop an understanding of what good technique is supposed to look like. What are the key positions in exercise, and what are the anatomical landmarks that are oriented in a geometric fashion in that position. And then finally, we need to understand how atypical anthropometry, segment lengths, heights, weights, girths, how all those atypical measures affect exercise technique. Now, if we can master these 3 little concepts, we become much, much, much more effective exercise professionals, and the people that we work with become much fitter, much faster.